Hello, how are you guys doing? I'm feeling much better today. Nothing really happened or anything like that. I I actually have a fun story to tell you that happened absolutely for like no reason out of nowhere, but it was really cool. Okay, give me one sec. I'm gonna move this camera because I'm kind of sitting like yeah, that's probably better. Um, so I went to the supermarket today to buy some groceries. Well, first of all, I had to climb 15 flights twice, twice. And twice I did it in one go, did not take any breaks, and it was not nearly as bad as I expected it to be. So, you know what? I think I'm going to start doing that for fun as a workout. So, when I actually have to do it, it doesn't feel nearly as awful as it does when you have to do it when your elevator doesn't work. If you haven't seen the video yet, I posted it both on YouTube and on TikTok, and you should go check it out. It's really funny. It's kind of like a satire about blackouts and having to walk up 15 flights and carry my EcoFlow everywhere that weighs 50 pounds. But it's a funny video, and I think you guys will find it hilarious. It's both on TikTok and on YouTube. So, um, so I have a funny story today. Well, it's not funny. It's kind of like it's a weird sort of like circumstance type of story. So, first of all, Cindy is feeling a little better. She is very much a queen and a princess and all these things. She I had to so I had to force her or trick her into going for a walk today because she absolutely didn't want to do that. But the doctors were like, she needs to move at least 30 minutes a day, and she's been like sleeping all the time. But she's more as in like she looks and feels more alive. She's just kind of lazy. But anyways, I had to trick her to go outside. I was like, "Oh, we're going to go to the grocery store. It's not far away. It's probably like 7-10 minutes walk." She walked halfway and then set her butt and was like, "Nope." So I brought her back home, and then I went to the grocery store. So also today I recorded an episode with John Aravosis, so wait for that to come out possibly next week, possibly the week after that. But it was a great conversation. I think we covered so many different topics. It was like a really, really interesting. It was a very, very interesting discussion about the Cold War and the Soviet Union and how it plays into today and today's circumstances. It's going to be great. But a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed this very, very fantastic Ukrainian combat medic whose name is Yordan Konstantindy. He is from Odessa, and he is Greek. Well, like ancestrally, he's Greek, but there are lots of ancestrally Greek people in Odessa, so he's Ukrainian. Well, I mean, I think he considers himself Greek Ukrainian. I don't want to I don't want to say Greek or Ukrainian and then be like wrong or offend him in any way. But there is a large population of Greeks in Odessa. Anyways, he's a combat medic. He has this fantastic brand that makes dog tags, like these really cool, very stylish dog tags, because the Ukrainian military doesn't necessarily give them out. And the ones that they do are just like really bad, really useless, whatever. They're bad luck. People don't like them. People don't wear them. So he wanted to turn it around and make it sort of like a good luck charm. So I interviewed him about these dog tags because like I thought it was so cool. Like I got some for my friends. Like it's an amazing idea. It's an amazing brand. I was like really, really excited. And then like we talked a couple of times like on certain topics that we like really got along on, just sometimes on social media. And he's mostly at the front. He doesn't live in Kyiv. He's at the front. So I walk into my local supermarket to get some stuff for dinner. And I walk in and I immediately see a guy that looks a lot like him. And I've never seen him in person. Never seen him in person. And I'm just like, wait, that guy looks so much like him. But like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to like pull up a random person and be like, hi. Also, like, I don't see very well. So anyways, so I kind of think it's him, maybe not. We're like in the same grocery aisle. I'm not necessarily, like he's not really reacting. I'm not really reacting. So I'm like, probably not him. So I go about my business. And I keep just kind of like looking for things that I wanted to find. And I was looking for pesto and I could not find a pasta aisle for the life of me. I mean, like I walked around maybe 10 times and I just kept missing it. I couldn't find it. So I went and got milk, went to different aisles. A couple of times we passed each other again because I saw like the shirt, but I wasn't really paying attention. And then I finally find pesto and I'm like standing in this aisle. I see pasta and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is where pesto is going to be. I come up to this aisle. I'm staring at pesto. It's like right here. And then I turn to my right and I see him walking straight at me. And I'm like, that looks so much like that guy. And then I look back at the pesto because I like wanted to grab the pesto. I turn around and he's not there anymore. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I don't really need to find out. Also, I can just message this man and ask him if he was at the same grocery store today, because at this point, like curiosity is eating me, right? So I go to self-checkout and there is like registers and self-checkout, and they both kind of then meet, like you kind of like, you know, they both kind of like feed into the same exit. So I pay for my stuff, pack my food, and I'm about to walk out. I pull up Instagram. I find the guy on Instagram and I message him and I go, hey, are you by any chance at this silpo in this location right now? And I literally like pick up my head, I look up, and we both just sort of walked into each other. And I'm about to open my mouth and be like, are you? And he's like, and I didn't even say it. And he goes, yes, hi. Oh my God, nice to meet you in person. So it turns out that both of us thought that, like, he thought that that's probably me. Maybe that's me. And I thought maybe that's him. And both of us, like, I mean, this was like an unspoken situation, but it was very clear that both of us were like in this predicament where we didn't want to be like these weird people who like, who are, you know, who just like pulled up a random person who's not the person we think they are. And like both of us were trying to figure out if that's like, if that's the person we think it is. So we just had like a brief conversation. I asked him if he lived around the area and he was like, well, no, I live at the front, but it was my like mate's it was my mate's wedding. So we were here. Oh, hi, 8 Life. And so it was my mate's birthday, and that's why we were here. And basically, and he's like, oh, I'm going back to the front tomorrow. But it was such a weird sort of like, it was such a weird coincidence, right? Because this person is at the front. I interviewed them a couple of weeks ago. The reason why the interview haven't come out yet is because he's updating his site to English so you guys can look at it in English, because it's like, it's a whole experience. And also because I need to dub and voice over the interview in English, because the interview was done in Ukrainian. And it was like crazy because, you know, I've never seen this person in like, I've never interviewed this. I've never seen this person in real life. I just interviewed them like a couple of weeks ago, and then I saw them at a you're a troll. What do you mean? And then I saw them at a grocery store, like in my neighborhood, and they don't live in Kyiv. I don't know. It was like a wild experience. So that was like really, really cool. And I don't know, made my evening. And certainly I'm in a much better mood today than I was yesterday. And it was just a really cool thing. And then I came back home and you know, Cindy is snoring. She is feeling a little better, but she's not like 100%. She's definitely, first of all, she still has like, she still has this from intubation. Thank you, Jeremy. So from intubation, she still has like that like weird, oh my God, wait, that's so cool. These are so cute. Thank you, 8 Life. Also, how have you been? Where have you been? So from intubation, she still has these like scratchy, itchy sounds coming from her throat. And she's not like, you know, it's not great. It's really not great. But it's like, I don't know. Doctors are telling me that this is normal and she's going to be like, and she's going to get better. She's also like absolutely such a diva. I feel bad because I'm trying not to be too nice to her. And I'll explain myself. Anytime Cindy does not feel very well, I give her so much attention because I freak out and I'm just like, oh my gosh, my baby, you know, like I want to make life much better and easier for her. Cindy is a smart dog. Okay. So when Cindy sees, oh, so when I do this, this human becomes subservient to me. Thank you, Tara. And I do become subservient to her. So she starts acting like she's hurt and she's feeling awful on purpose. And I will like give you an example of that. Today, this dog was on her dog bed feeling fantastic. Nothing was going wrong. She was just like resting, right? And then like she gives me this I want attention stare, but I was working. So I looked at her. She gave me this like look, and I was like, okay, well, I'll attend to her in a couple of minutes. I need to like finish my I need to finish the email I was writing. So this dog squeals at the top of her lungs, gets up, pretends like something hurt her, runs up to me, falls in my lap, and goes. And I'm like, you little, like, I see what you're doing. It is not working, my dear. I know you. I know you way too well. Thank you so much, Mark. And that's so cool that you've been traveling 8 Life and chasing orcs and being on the hunt. Please elaborate. Have you visited the front lines recently? But yeah, so so I am not trying to like give Cindy too many ideas because anytime I overdo it with being super caring, Cindy is literally being too much. Oh my gosh, wait, Gold and Blue United. Pamela? Really? Oh, hi. Oh my God. So many people I haven't seen in a while. That's so nice. Also, hello. Good to see you. How are you? How is school? How is everything? Dogs are good at pattern recognition. Oh, this dog is so good at pattern recognition. So yeah. But yeah, today is a better day. Hopefully, if someone is going to say something really mean or really stupid or objectifying or something, I'm not going to, lose my absolute shit. And yeah. Anyways, I was already on edge yesterday. That person tipped me over, and I also blocked them because I don't care how often you have come here. If you're going to be an asshole and you're going to be mean and you're going to objectify women, whether it be me or anyone else, I'm going to block you. So there is that. Okay. Your mother wears army boots? My mother doesn't wear army boots. Am I missing the metaphor for something? Am I not English? Do I not know English enough? Is this where language barrier comes in and kicks in? Okay. We're ready for the news. And before we get into the news, if you have the ability to sign up for the TikTok live membership or for the YouTube membership, or you have the ability to gift someone a membership, or Patreon, or buy me a coffee, or I don't know, PayPal, anything, I would be super grateful. Really helps me, goes a very long way, funds my journalistic ventures and adventures, and helps me bring the news to you every day, and create more and do more. Yeah, so there is that. I hate doing this. It's very awkward. Ozzy, congrats on being a YouTube member for 6 months. That's so cool. Also on TikTok, the more people get memberships, apparently, the more free memberships I can actually gift to other people, like the 14 that I was able to send to people the other day, which was really cool. Oh my gosh, hi Chris, good to see you. Oh, so many people today that I haven't seen in a while. That's so nice. Okay. All right. Putin has appointed his niece. Oh my God, wait, that's so cute. 8 Life, you always also choose like the cutest little couch potato. Oh my gosh, okay. Before we get to the news, sorry, I know I just said we're doing the news, but so on TikTok, there are these like animated GIFs, right? Thank you, Richard. And thank you, Max Trax. There are these like animated GIFs. They're kind of like super chats or on YouTube, or like super thanks on YouTube, right? But they're animated and they're really cool. And so 8 Life always chooses like the coolest animations ever. And so this one was called Couch Potato. And I don't know if you've seen this, Nick on YouTube is definitely going to be laughing at this. Hi, Jim. There is this TikTok creator. She's Indian and she does like parodies on Bollywood songs. And it's like, hot potato, you're a hot potato. So anytime anyone says potato now, all I can think about is hot potato, that song. And like, and also I call Cindy hot potato at this point. So that was very cool. Thank you. That really was very mood lifting. Thank you, Ozzy. Okay. I just got that out of my head. Thanks, Yulia. Nope. Sorry. Not gonna happen. Okay. We are officially ready for the news. Putin has appointed his niece, Anna Tsivilieva, to the post of Deputy Defense Minister. Yes, because she's so qualified to be that. Tsivilieva is the daughter of Putin's cousin. Her husband headed the Kemerovo region until May of this year, after which he was appointed as the Minister of Energy. Since April 2023, Tsivilieva has headed the Defenders of the Fatherland State Fund, which is supposed to help military personnel and their families. However, reports indicate that 97% of the funds are spent on employee salaries and other organizational activities. Shocking, I tell you. Shocking. Hi, Martin. Hi, Chris. White House National Security Council strategic. Also, before we do this, actually, so this just proves the nepotism in Putin's close circle. If you look at most of the people who are ministers of energy or infrastructure, ministers of any kind, if you look at people who had the largest funds in Russia, if you look at people who are ombudsmen for like human rights or children's rights, if you look at people who are mayors of cities or heads of regions, right? They are all Putin's friends, cousins, kids. It's always within the family. And that's a dictatorship for you. And that also should tell you everything you need to know about how they choose who leads the country. Thank you, 8Life, for resubscribing to the membership thing. Thank you. White House National Security Council Strategic Communications Coordinator John Kirby expressed concern over the deepening relations between Russia and North Korea amid Putin's visit to Pyongyang. We are not worried about the trip, but we are worried about the deepening of relations between these two countries, Kirby stated. He noted that possible agreements between Moscow and Pyongyang could impact the situation in Ukraine, given that Russia is using North Korean weapons. Certain mutual steps may take place that will affect the security situation of the Korean peninsula, he added. I mean, here's the thing, and we're going to talk about this more once we get a little bit deeper into the information, because there's going to be a lot more after that. Thank you, Ozzy. Putin, it's humiliating how much Putin needs to like deepen his relationship with North Korea. It's humiliating for him. Also, a couple of things happened in North Korea that were super humiliating to the Russian delegation to begin with. And I see, like, you know, Western media likes to say that it's concerning that their relationship is deepening. I don't think it's that concerning. I think it actually shows how much weaker Russia has become, that it really needs to kiss North Korea's ass so much. And as we talk about it further today, you will see what I mean about that. Also, 8Life, this reminded not just Lavrov grumpy, but this reminded me of something. First of all, because I was recording my interview with John Arvosis today at the studio at the news channel, I was surrounded by journalists, and I heard so many things straight from the horse's mouth. But also, 8Life, I want to show you something, because I think I never showed you, but 1 second, you guys. I'll be back in a jiffy. Okay. So, during Christmas and New Year's, 8Life here got me a gift, and I don't think I've ever shown it to him. But so these are sunglasses from this Ukrainian brand called Ochis. And the super cool thing about these sunglasses is that they're made completely out of coffee. Well, these also have like wheat seeds in them. So they're fully recycled and recyclable. And it's really cool because they kind of like they get coffee grounds from different coffee shops in Ukraine and they recycle them into glasses, and they have so many different models and they're actually very, very well made. Also, they smell like coffee still. And the case is also made out of recycled coffee and it also smells like coffee. And I personally think they're really cool. You know, I mean, this is not necessarily, they're also polarized. This is not a very good like environment for wearing glasses. Wow, it's so dark, but they're really cool. And if you guys are looking for very nice glasses, like sunglasses, these are, this brand is really, really awesome. And I'll show them to you closer. But look, and I really like that these lenses also look very much as if they were coffee, you know? Yeah, so and they're genuinely very well made, and they're super, yeah, they're made out of, I mean, they're made out of recycled coffee, and they have two different collections too. One is just coffee grounds and one is like flowers and wheat mixed in and stuff. So yeah, they're really cool. They're called ochis. Ochi means eyes in Ukrainian. So yeah. And if someone is addicted to coffee, these are great these are a great ah, I love letting you hear what an air raid sounds like. Do you hear it? Okay, 1 second. Okay, so these are cruise missiles. They're not ballistic. I normally don't necessarily go. So let's do this because the news has been interrupted for the past, I don't know how many days, by like something happening in the background. So here is what we're going to do. I'm not going to go to the bomb shelter yet because this is not ballistics, this is cruise missiles. And usually you have enough notice between them getting to your city and you needing to go to, and you needing to be in the bomb shelter. So I am going to be monitoring. I'm going to be monitoring the situation, I promise you. And if it looks like they're heading to Kyiv or they're anywhere near Kyiv, we're going to end the live and I'm going to go to my underground parking lot. But for now, let's get through the news because it's been a couple of days that we've been interrupted. So I'm going to close the window because you guys have heard what that sounds like now. Oh, what the heck? Something weird going on with my window. It like goes off its hinges. Okay, so Canadian Defense Minister Blair stated that favorable circumstances have not yet developed for the return of military instructors from Western countries to Ukraine. Commenting on the decision of the meeting of defense ministers of NATO countries, Blair noted that the alliance discussed the NATO mission, which aims to strengthen Ukrainian military exercises. Vladimir Putin's visit to North Korea, announced by the Kremlin, shows that Russia is increasingly dependent on authoritarian regimes, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told the Wilson Center. He emphasized that the Kremlin ruler's trip to North Korea demonstrate how much President Putin and Moscow are now dependent on authoritarian countries around the world. Their closest friends and biggest supporters of the Russian military effort, the war of aggression, are North Korea, Iran, and China, all dictatorships. But that's what I was trying to say. Hi, Diane. That's what I was trying to say, is that to me, it does not look concerning. To me, it looks it shows how much weaker Russia is, that they need to appease all of these dictators. And it shows how weak they are. It also shows how desperate they are. Also, the entire delegation of Russia, because they're so used to being the center of attention and they're used to be the ones being appeased, went to North Korea and walked into the conference room or the conference hall or like wherever the reception room where Putin was supposed to meet with the with Kim Jong-un, and the entire delegation was asked to leave the room, turned around, not even asked, they were like, you have to leave the room. They were like escorted out because Kim Jong-un has to enter the room first. Can you imagine how humiliating that would be to Russian leadership, provided that they have never faced that in their entire life? They had to all turn around, walk out, wait for Kim to walk in, and then come back in. That also shows that now Russia is the one that needs to convince North Korea to be friends with them. That shows that North Korea is above Russia in the social food chain of dictatorships, because now Russia has to follow suit and follow their rules. It's so funny. Ukraine will receive a Frankenstein tank designed to shoot down missiles and drones, according to the Telegraph. Rheinmetall announced that the new tank will be based on the Leopard 1 chassis with a modern Skyranger anti-aircraft system featuring a 35mm automatic gun installed on its hulls. The Skyranger system, recently developed by Rheinmetall, is equipped with advanced sensors providing a 360-degree view of the battlefield and is capable of countering swarms of drones. This one is very interesting. Burned books from the Kharkiv printing house Faktor Druk, which suffered from a Russian missile strike on May 23rd, will be displayed in the U.S. Library of Congress and foreign museums. You should go look at it if you are anywhere near the U.S. Library of Congress or have access to it. Remember when I went to a book fair, I told you it was the largest book fair in Ukraine, and it was like an art installation as well. I posted a video about it on TikTok and on Instagram. You can go check it out. I don't think I posted it on YouTube because it was too long and it was definitely not 60 seconds. It was when my friend Yulia was visiting and we saw these books and they were there a couple of days after that happened. So they still smell burned. And I implore you, if you have the opportunity, to go and see this exhibition. Yewleea Orlova, director of the Vivat publishing house, told Suspilne about this development. As a result of the rocket attack, 50,000 books were burned. After the attack, offers to buy the affected books or exhibit them abroad began to arrive. Began to arrive. Burnt editions will not be sold. Instead, the saved copies will soon go on display at the U.S. Library of Congress and foreign museums. This is very thin ice in the ethical plane. We wouldn't want to sell them as commerce. Sometimes it's a shame to make money, and this, in my opinion, is just such a story, Orlova explained. That's actually very noble because, you know, they lost so much money with the print house being annihilated by Russia, and it's the largest print house in Europe, Faktor Druk. Every third book in Ukraine was printed at that print house, and many books abroad also were printed there. They also have their publishing house called Vivat, and it is the largest print house in all of Europe. It was massive. Also, most of the books in Ukraine are printed in Kharkiv. Kharkiv is actually quite an epicenter for publishing. It had a lot of industrialization during the Soviet times as well. Kharkiv is known for a lot of things, and Kharkiv is kind of like, you know, there are a lot of industries living there. So it's kind of, you know, it's quite insane that they decided not to sell the books and they decided to eat the cost of what happened and just exhibit them in museums. I think it's a very, very noble thing to do. Italy will possibly transfer Storm Shadow long-range missiles to Ukraine. The European Union has become an observer in the international coalition for the return of Ukrainian children, according to head of European diplomacy Joseph Borrell. It is time to act and return all thousands of forcibly displaced and deported Ukrainian children, Borrell said. He emphasized that the Russian Federation should be held accountable for this inhumane and terrible crime. France has signed a contract with Armenia for the purchase of Caesar artillery installations, Minister of Armed Forces Sébastien Lecornu announced. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby stated that Ukraine must win the war to join NATO. And we are doing everything possible to make Ukraine win. Kirby also added that Washington will work with Kyiv at every step to achieve Ukraine's accession to NATO. Interesting, because that's not what Biden was saying the other day. I think the US is not quite doing everything the US can. The US is doing a lot, but the US is not doing nearly not even half of what the US can actually do. So that's a bit of an overstatement, John Kirby, don't you think? Germany has created a unit to counter Russian disinformation. That is incredibly necessary in Germany because, since Germany has been under the influence of Russia for so long, Berlin Wall and all, they have a lot of Russian sleeping agents. They have a lot of Russians. They have a lot of Russlanddeutsche, which are like German Russians or German citizens who are like Russians, who are Russian by ethnicity and stuff, and you know what that is like. So they really, really, really need. They really, really, really need that department. 10 special analysts will monitor and analyze disinformation operations on social network, including those sponsored by the Russian Federation. Another goal of the unit is to prevent and neutralize disinformation campaign before they gain traction. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, the trolls are coming to TikTok. It's like the good old times, honey. Yekaterina, baby. Hi, nice to meet you. Are you commenting? So here's my question, right? Ukraine lost the war already, and I should accept it. And the only job you can get in Russia is at the disinformation agency, writing this stupid stuff. Ukraine already lost the war, and your leader had to just bow in front of Kim Jong-un, North Korea, literally the pariah state that nobody would work with until recently. Baby, you really need to wake up. It's really upsetting, honestly. It's quite bold of you to say that your country is winning the war when they have to kiss North Korea's ass. It's you really can't go lower than that. That's already very low on the political food chain, social food chain, all of the food chains. And Kim Jong-un is also short. So that is very low. You need to go very low to kiss his ass. As its slogan during the presidency of the EU Council in the second half of 2024, Hungary chose the phrase, "Make Europe great again." I'm sorry. Can we just think into this a little bit? As its slogan during the presidency of the EU Council in the second half of 2024, Hungary chose the phrase, "Make Europe great again." So when I've been saying that Orban, Yanukovych, Trump, they're all the same type of person, right? All sponsored by the same one tiny little man. Also, sorry, there is a bit of a YouTube drama going on in the comments. Okiroshi, I don't block people. As you can see, I'm kind of busy. My mods do. And unless you literally heard me say, "Hey, guys, can you block this person?" You have to figure it out with the mods, and you have to figure out what it is that got you blocked, and you have to deal with them, because I did not make that decision. I don't know why you were blocked. I trust my mods. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes you get blocked accidentally, but you know, if you're being an asshole about your opinion that differs, then then that's that's you know. Also, I don't know, you need to tell them what your other account is. President Zelensky held a meeting with the speaker of the Lithuanian Seimas, Victoria Smilaite Nielsen, or Schmilaite Nielsen, or Schmilaite Nielsen. Taz, help me out. Who is visiting Kyiv? During the meeting, they discussed the urgent needs to strengthen Ukraine's defense capabilities and the results of the first summit on peace in Ukraine in Switzerland. Additionally, Zelensky and Schmilaite Nielsen talked about further steps towards establishing a just peace in Ukraine and cooperation in the context of integration into the EU and NATO. Hungary lifts veto on Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte becoming NATO's next Secretary General. I really, really hope that Europe is actually going to push and take Hungary's right of veto away and take them off of the EU Council presidency, because that's something that they have been pushing for, because Hungary presiding over the European Council is really just, you know, giving all the power to a country that's literally allied. I mean, it's not allied on paper, right? There is not a document that makes them allies, but it's evident in all of their actions. It is literally allied with a country that is currently the threat to everyone in Europe, and that is currently waging a war of aggression. It's really not something that should be happening. Putin flew to North Korea to meet with Kim Jong-un. The propagandists have not released the video of the meeting between the two dictators yet, only reporting that they started talking immediately after the meeting. Yes, immediately after the Russian delegation was turned around, asked to leave the room, wait for Kim Jong-un to enter, and then enter after him. The Swiss parliament has taken a step towards allowing the indirect exports of arms to Ukraine, reported Blick. That's actually a big one. The Committee on Security Policy of the Swiss National Council voted for amendments on the law that limits re-export of weapons. The vote took place a few days after the peace summit. If you did not know, Switzerland does not export arms to Ukraine and forbids a re-export of Swiss-purchased weapons to Ukraine. And now this is being reconsidered, and this is a big step because, okay, we know that Switzerland is not necessarily neutral, because, you know, they were so neutral in World War II that they were keeping Nazi assets safe for them to, you know, get them later. They were keeping Russian assets safe for Russians to get them later, until, you know, Europe intervened and sort of was like, that is not something that can be done. Get your head on straight. And now they're not letting their re-export or export of arms, but and they're using the neutrality card. That's not neutral. That's aiding the aggressor indirectly. So now this is being reconsidered, which is good. The Russians have restored the ferry crossing in occupied Crimea after an attack by ATACMS missiles at the end of May, according to Navy Speaker Dmytro Platonchuk. Platonchuk noted that the Russians are already actively using the ferry crossing to support their grouping of troops in the southern direction. That's okay. I mean, we'll hit it again. It's really not that big of a deal in this case. Ukraine presented the new Yewleea barrage drone at the Eurosatory 2024 International Exhibition. The kamikaze drone, featuring X-shaped plumage, is equipped with a communication module with an encrypted channel and a CRPA antenna, making it resistant to electronic warfare. It is capable of operating both day and night with machine vision and automatic target detection. The drone can be flown by an operator or guided by satellite coordinates and is launched from a catapult. This is what the drone looks like. I mean, to be fair, all of these drones kind of look, similar to me, but it's their technical it's their technical characteristics and it's about their technical characteristics and their specs. And these seem pretty impressive. Ukraine will receive 54 RCH 155 self-propelled guns, an increase from the 36 units announced in February this year, according to KDNS. Nearly 6 months ago, the company announced the delivery of 36 units of these self-propelled guns to Ukraine as part of military aid from the German government. However, today the manufacturer announced a new figure of 54 units instead of 36. Thank you, Steve. Also, Yulia, does this new drone have much boom boom? Me like bavovnas as well. Here is it's a kamikaze drone featuring X-shaped plumage. It is equipped with a communication module with an encrypted channel and a CRPA antenna, making it resistant to electronic warfare, which is really cool. It is capable of operating both day and night with machine vision and automatic target detection. So, yeah, much boom boom. Also can be flown by an operator or guided by satellite coordinates, and it is launched from a catapult. I think it's a really, really good drone. It's a nice change of pace. The Scientific Research Institute in Lviv was damaged as a result of an enemy attack during the night, according to city mayor Andriy Sadovy. Additionally, the head of the regional military administration, Maxim Kozitsky, reported that 2 people, a 47-year-old man and a 70-year-old man, were injured in Malechov following the UAV attack. Hi, Michigan. Hi, Walter. I am actually going to Lviv this weekend because it is Anastasia's birthday on Saturday. And it was my grandma's birthday last week. And also Sini has a vet appointment in Lviv because I really want the trusted vets to look at her and after her, sterilization operation. And so there are lots of reasons for which I should go to Lviv. You know what's crazy? Wait a second. This is what I forgot to mention. This is a personal thing, but wait. So I'm going to Lviv. My mom on Sunday is going to Poland for a couple of days, right? And I am pretty sure that the reason why she asked me this is because she wants me to stay longer so I could stay there with Cindy and watch her dog instead of her having to drive the dog to my grandma's because the dog needs regular walks and my grandma can't do that. So my mom is like, so when are you staying till? And I'm like, I don't know, Sunday night. I'll come on Saturday morning and I'll stay till Sunday night or Monday night. And she's like, why don't you stay like, I don't know, Tuesday and Wednesday and just get back on Thursday morning? And I'm like, but you're not even going to be here. Like, what's the point? She's like, it would be nice for you, like you could just stay over longer and maybe I can even leave you my car. My mom's car is her child. My mom loves that car. Like, it's like a nice Mercedes. Okay. It's a couple of years old, but it's like one of those like nicer, bougier Mercedes. She has never in her life let me drive her vehicle. Never in her life. Okay. It's not like she doesn't offer to leave her car for me. What? Like, I've like asked before if I could like drive it to a mall because I needed something and she just drove me instead. Like, I'm sensing something. I don't know what I'm sensing, but I'm sensing something. Something's going on. So it is better than the Lauder Comrade Special Edition. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just funny because my mom is not the kind of person who would offer herself, like I'm curious what it like. I bet you it's because she wants me to stay longer and watch her dog, which if I don't have to come back to work to shoot, like if I'm not shooting until Thursday, no problem. I'll stay. I'll watch her dog. It's cool. I'll be there with Cindy. Cindy likes, the yard there. Cindy, it's fine. It's totally cool. She likes the company, but it's just so funny. Also, so someone's saying that UAVs are heading to Kyiv. So because I live very central, I never actually go to the bomb shelter for UAVs, and I will explain why. Because never in my experience here, most people's experience here, have drones reached. First of all, there are 6 embassies around me, and the reason why I picked this location is because there are 6 foreign embassies around me. There's like the French embassy, the Korean embassy, the Japanese embassy. There's like German embassy, the Czech embassy, Polish embassy. There are a lot of embassies here, okay? The American embassy is not far. So like, I feel quite safe here. And also the UAVs are usually taken down way before they get anywhere near the center. So for me, it's like UAVs are here in terms of I'm scared. Cruise missiles are like here. Ballistics is over here, okay? So there is that. Kim Jong-un is trying to show that he's a meaningful leader, and Putin is trying to show that he still has friends. Kim will likely ask for missiles and ammunition, while Putin will seek promises of military aid from the DPRK if needed, according to DW's analysis of Putin's visit to North Korea. It is expected that a number of agreements of both economic and military nature will be adopted during the negotiations between the two leaders. Analysts warn that some of the deals, particularly those involving the exchange of weapons and advanced missiles and satellite technology, are likely to remain secret. Both leaders are eager to demonstrate their importance. Kim wants to bolster his authority as a significant world leader. Yeah, by what? Being friends with Putin? Sure. While Putin aims to show that Russia still has allies and can travel abroad despite UN sanctions and international arrest warrants. Experts predict that Kim will promise to provide Russia with more artillery shells in addition to the millions of rounds already sent to the front line in Ukraine. In return, Putin is expected to continue providing technological support to North Korea's nuclear, missile, and space projects. Lim An-jung, an associate professor of international studies at South Korea's Konju National University, adds that Kim made a strategic choice to support Russia from the beginning of the Ukraine invasion to reduce dependence on China for political support. Last September, Kim visited the Vostochny Cosmodrome in the Russian Far East, and it seems likely that he obtained advanced Russian technology. I expect he will try to achieve the same at this meeting, and he may also seek firm military commitments from Putin. If he gets them in writing, it will put North Korea in a strong position, Lim said. Hi, Leathercat. Good to see you. Oh, Stephanie. Hi. Yulia, way too much info? What do you mean? Putin is also likely to agree to provide the natural resources that North Korea desperately needs, including oil and gas. Meanwhile, Kim is expected to agree to send more workers to Russia to address labor shortages caused by conscription. Despite the benefits of expanding the axis of authoritarian regimes, even China is beginning to worry about North Korea's closer ties with Russia. Yulia, too much information in your location. I implore you to look at the radius in between which there are all of these embassies. Like, you guys, please stop pestering me about the things that I reveal about my location. I too don't want people to know where I live. There are 2 neighborhoods, 2 whole ass neighborhoods. In terms of sky and in terms of missiles and in terms of UAVs, I am pretty close to these embassies. In terms of actual walking distance, I am not. I've also said central Kyiv is a very, 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 very stretchy understanding. Pechersk is central Kyiv. So is Zoloty Vorota. So is the circus. So is like Huliver area. So is Khreshchatyk. These are all far away from each other. But also, like, Kyiv is big. If we look at the airspace, I'm not far from 6 embassies. But that does not help you zero in on my location because they're all in very different areas. I just get like, I get a little bit annoyed when someone tells me that I'm saying too much information because it makes me feel like not you, but it makes me feel like people think I'm an idiot for not knowing what I can or cannot say. And like, I know the distances in Kyiv and I know Kyiv's geography. I appreciate you guys worrying, but also like, I'm not sharing too much because it is probably like a 10-kilometer to 15-kilometer radius that you are looking at. The Caribbean state of Antigua and Barbuda joined the final communique of the inaugural Summit on Peace of Ukraine. Although it did not participate in the summit, Deputy Head of the Office of the President, Ihor Zhovkwa, said. Also, audio producer, what's your address and password? Unknown street, an unknown location, in an anonymous apartment, and the password is F off. Not literally, I love you, but yeah, you can try that. Denmark has announced a new aid package for Ukraine. The support includes funding for the Ukrainian defense industry, additional equipment for F-16 fighter jets, and funds for the production of military equipment in both the short and long term. Putin and Kim Jong-un have signed an agreement on a comprehensive strategic partnership, which includes provisions for mutual assistance in the event of aggression against either state. Aw, so nice. Except they're very technologically behind and both depend on China. Oopsie doopsie. I mean, are we surprised? I think that was the goal, right? That's what we expected. On the agenda of the Hungarian presidency of the EU for the next 6 months, there is no item on support for Ukraine, according to DW, referencing a statement by Hungary's representative to the EU, Balint Odor. When asked about Hungary's stance on Russia's ongoing war of aggression in Ukraine and policies regarding assistance to Kyiv, Odor responded that Budapest will carefully monitor the development of events and include all necessary aspects in the agenda if necessary. Meanwhile, Hungary has outlined 7 priorities for its upcoming presidency of the Council in the EU. Among them is the fight against illegal immigration, of course. As the head of the EU Council, Hungary also aims to balance the process of EU enlargement, aka make it more difficult for Ukraine to join. The processes particularly by intensifying actions related to the Western Balkans in light of the accelerated procedure for granting candidate status to Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia, as stated by the permanent representative of Hungary at a briefing in Brussels. Ladies and gentlemen, it is about to be Hungarian blackmail era. Russia is attempting to scare NATO countries with the threat of World War III, but it doesn't seem to be preparing for war near Finland. According to intelligence sources cited by Yewleea, 80% of the troops from this direction have been transferred to Ukraine. The garrisons and military bases near the Finnish border are almost empty, despite Russia's announcements of strengthening its forces. Bases in other regions of Russia, except the Moscow region, are also empty. Finnish intelligence indicates that the largest shortfall is in the ground forces, whereas the Air Force, Air Defense Forces, and Navy are better equipped with personnel and equipment. However, the Russians are constructing new hangars in Petrozavodsk, likely to repair equipment damaged at the front. And and restore equipment that has been stored outdoors for years. According to the source, Russia is already actively using equipment from these bases in Ukraine. Joshua is saying, I'm new here. Why are they making it difficult for Ukraine to join these new alliances? Well, Hungary does not want Ukraine to join NATO, to join neither NATO nor the EU, because Hungary is, again, allied with Russia. It's obviously not official, but it's very evident. And Orban is a dictator. He's also the lover of the Soviet Union and really a Russian shill. And NATO, well, because, they just really want to make it difficult for Ukraine, and they don't want to protect Ukraine more than they already do. Unfortunately, that's all I have for you for today, guys. It is 2:26 a.m. I am going to be, monitoring the situation and then hopefully going to bed. Cindy is, sleeping. But I also want to spend some time with her because I feel like, after her little sterilization, she's just so sad and so small and so hurt looking and stuff. I just want to spend more time with her. And also it's 2:26. And I will see you tomorrow, probably earlier than today, because I have a much less intense day. So I will be seeing you then. Oh, and also Rick is coming over for dinner tomorrow, so I should be doing a small little stream with him. Alrighty. Aw, thank you, Joshua. So I'll have to go back and listen to the beginning. Hi, Crystal. And good night, everybody.